If you're a Taurus, 2026 is the year where staying the same quietly stops working. Not all at once, not dramatically, but in ways you can't ignore. Something that once felt stable begins to feel heavy. Something you tolerated for years starts asking for a decision. And the uncomfortable truth is this: in 2026, waiting becomes a choice and not the safe one. This is not a year of patience. It's a year of pressure. Pressure that doesn't come to destroy you, but to reveal what no longer fits the person you're becoming. Many Taurus signs will feel restless without knowing why. Others will feel dissatisfaction with work, relationships, or routines that once felt right. And some of you will hear a quiet question repeating in the background of your life: if nothing changes, will I still be happy? 2026 doesn't arrive gently for Taurus. It arrives with momentum. Events move faster than you expect. Decisions demand answers sooner than you're comfortable with. And in 2 specific months, something happens that shifts your direction permanently, not because you planned it, but because it was necessary. This is not a surface-level horoscope, and it's not designed to scare you. It's a month-by-month look at the energetic themes of 2026, where growth accelerates, where resistance creates tension, and where fate steps in to redirect your path. You don't need to believe in tarot for this to resonate. You only need to recognize yourself in the patterns that unfold. Every month in 2026 carries a message for Taurus. Some months ask you to act. Some ask you to release. And some quietly prepare you for something bigger than you expected. This reading is about clarity, not prediction. Because by the end of 2026, the Taurus who started the year will not be the same one who finishes it. Let's begin with January, the moment where the old story starts to loosen its grip. January 2026 begins with a strange emotional contrast for Taurus. On the surface, nothing looks wrong. Life appears familiar, routines continue, and responsibilities remain the same. But internally, something feels off. There is a quiet sense of disappointment or emotional heaviness, as if the year has started with a question rather than an answer. This isn't sadness in the dramatic sense, it's the realization that something you once expected to fulfill you no longer does. January asks you to confront the difference between comfort and satisfaction. You may notice that certain situations, habits, or even people no longer give you the emotional return they once did. And while Taurus naturally prefers stability, this month gently, and sometimes uncomfortably, pushes you to stop looking backward. The past holds familiar memories, but it no longer contains solutions. What worked before will not carry you forward into 2026. At the same time, January brings competition, comparison, and moments where you must prove yourself. You may feel challenged at work, in studies, or even within your personal goals. It can feel as though others are moving faster or demanding more from you. But this is not meant to discourage you. This pressure exists to wake up your inner strength. You are being reminded that you are more capable than you've allowed yourself to believe. One important decision stands out this month. It may not arrive loudly, but it carries weight. Choosing to stay silent, to delay, or to avoid action is also a choice, and January makes that very clear. The energy supports courage, not perfection. You do not need the full plan yet. You only need the willingness to move forward instead of clinging to what feels emotionally safe. By the end of January, Taurus regains confidence. You begin to remember your resilience, your charisma, and your ability to handle pressure with quiet strength. This month doesn't give instant rewards, it gives clarity. And that clarity becomes the foundation for everything that follows in 2026. February 2026 feels like a sudden shift in energy for Taurus. After the emotional heaviness and inner questioning of January, this month opens space, light, and movement. Things begin to flow again. Answers arrive more easily, and situations that felt stuck start to resolve themselves. It's as if the universe rewards you for choosing not to give up last month. This is a month of visibility. Taurus is noticed for effort, for consistency, and for quiet persistence. Financial matters improve, sometimes unexpectedly. You may receive good news connected to work, income, or a project that finally begins to pay off. For some, February brings recognition or support from someone in a position of authority. For others, it brings opportunities that feel warm, encouraging, and reassuring. February also carries strong themes of joy and forward motion. Travel may appear on the horizon, or plans involving distance, learning, or expansion begin to take shape. Even if you don't physically go anywhere, your mindset shifts. You start to believe again in yourself, in your path, and in the idea that things can actually get better. This month has a positive influence on family matters and children as well. Good news may arrive regarding loved ones, or you may feel more emotionally connected to those closest to you. Conversations feel lighter. Laughter returns. The heaviness of January fades, replaced by warmth and optimism. Most importantly, February reminds Taurus of something essential. Happiness is not something you chase, it's something you allow. When you stop resisting change and start trusting movement, life meets you halfway. February doesn't ask you to struggle. It asks you to enjoy the progress you've already earned. And this renewed sense of confidence becomes the fuel that carries you into the more active months ahead. March 2026 brings a surge of energy that Taurus cannot ignore. This is the month where hesitation fades and action takes over. After the emotional reflection of January and the optimism of February, March pushes you forward with confidence and momentum. You feel ready to move, to decide, and to take risks that once felt intimidating. This month is strongly connected to ambition and direction. Taurus begins chasing something meaningful, a goal, a dream, or a vision that has been quietly growing in the background. Travel, relocation, or sudden changes in plans are possible, and they happen quickly. What's important to understand is that March doesn't wait for perfect timing. It rewards courage, not overthinking. You may face challenges or competition, but fear does not dominate this month. Instead, you meet obstacles with determination. Situations that once felt overwhelming now feel manageable. There is a sense that you are capable of more than you realized, and March proves it through action, not words. March also supports independence. You may feel less influenced by others' opinions and more connected to your own instincts. This is a powerful shift for Taurus as you begin trusting your inner drive instead of seeking external reassurance. Decisions made this month shape your path for the rest of the year. By the end of March, Taurus feels empowered. You are no longer waiting for permission or approval. You are moving towards something that excites you, even if the destination is not fully clear yet. March is not about safety, it's about momentum. And once you start moving, 2026 accelerates in your favor. April 2026 becomes a turning point for Taurus on an emotional level. This is the month where feelings can no longer be ignored or postponed. Situations that have been slowly building pressure suddenly demand attention. You may feel torn between what feels familiar and what feels necessary. The pace increases, and emotionally, it can feel overwhelming at times. There is a strong theme of choice in April. Taurus may find themselves standing between two paths, two relationships, two opportunities, or two versions of life. One option feels safe and emotionally comfortable, while the other feels uncertain but deeply meaningful. April does not allow avoidance. Decisions made this month shape long-term outcomes. Relationships take center stage. For some Taurus signs, April brings romance, attraction, or an important emotional connection. For others, it brings negotiations, agreements, or significant conversations that change the direction of a partnership, personal or professional. Honesty becomes essential. Half-truths and emotional suppression only create tension. This month also highlights emotional attachment to places, routines, or roles that are no longer aligned with who you are becoming. Letting go may feel uncomfortable, but holding on becomes even more exhausting. April teaches Taurus that emotional maturity sometimes means choosing growth over comfort. By the end of April, clarity replaces confusion. The emotional storm settles, and a sense of alignment begins to form. You may not feel fully settled yet, but you will know that the decision you made was necessary. April doesn't promise ease, it promises truth. And that truth sets the stage for powerful changes in the months ahead. May 2026 is one of the most powerful and life-changing months of the year for Taurus. This is not a month you simply pass through, it leaves a mark. Time feels accelerated, as if events are unfolding faster than you can fully process. Situations demand quick decisions, and delays are no longer an option. What happens in May feels destined rather than planned. There is a strong sense that timing is critical. Opportunities appear suddenly, and you may feel pressure to act before you feel completely ready. Taurus, who usually prefers to move carefully, is pushed to trust instinct instead of certainty. This month teaches you that some doors only open briefly, and if you hesitate too long, they close. May also carries the energy of fate. A meeting, an offer, a message, or an unexpected turn of events can completely redirect your path. This could involve work, finances, relocation, or a deeply personal realization. What's important to understand is that this shift is not random. It happens to align you more closely with who you are meant to become. Emotionally, May can feel intense. You may experience moments of urgency, excitement, and fear all at once. But beneath the chaos is clarity. You begin to see that certain patterns in your life have reached their limit. Continuing the same way is no longer sustainable. Change is not just possible, it is necessary. By the end of May, Taurus realizes that something irreversible has occurred. A chapter has closed, and a new one has quietly begun. Even if you don't fully understand the outcome yet, you will feel it deeply. Your life is no longer moving in the same direction. And this shift becomes the foundation for the powerful growth that follows in the second half of 2026. June 2026 brings Taurus into a position of strength and authority. After the rapid and fateful changes of May, this month is about structure, control, and long-term stability. You are no longer reacting to events, you are directing them. Decisions made in June carry weight and influence not only the present moment, but the years ahead. This month highlights leadership and responsibility. Taurus may find themselves stepping into a role that requires confidence, organization, and clear boundaries. An important figure enters your life or becomes more prominent, someone with influence, experience, or authority. This connection can shape your career, finances, or personal direction in meaningful ways. June also emphasizes partnership, but not in a casual sense. Relationships this month are about balance, mutual respect, and shared power. For some Taurus signs, this can manifest as a serious romantic commitment or even marriage. For others, it may appear as a business partnership or collaboration that brings growth and security. Financially, June supports growth through discipline and strategy. This is not impulsive energy, it's steady, intentional progress. Investments, property matters, or long-term plans are favored when approached with patience and realism. Taurus feels grounded again, but this time with a deeper sense of purpose. By the end of June, you recognize how far you've come in a short period of time. Confidence is no longer something you force, it feels natural. You trust your decisions, your boundaries, and your ability to build something lasting. June stabilizes the momentum of 2026 and prepares you for the fulfillment and recognition that arrive later in the year. July 2026 is a month of visibility and fulfillment for Taurus. After months of effort, decisions, and inner growth, this is when the universe begins to respond. You're seen. Your work, your presence, and your authenticity attract attention naturally. This is not forced recognition, it's earned. July carries the energy of wishes coming true, but not in a dramatic or unrealistic way. Instead, it brings moments that confirm you are on the right path. A long-held desire begins to materialize. You may receive an offer, an invitation, or an opportunity that feels aligned with who you've become this year. For some Taurus signs, this month brings public recognition, success on social platforms, or appreciation from others that boosts confidence. Emotionally, July feels lighter. Hope replaces uncertainty. You feel inspired to dream again, not because you are escaping reality, but because reality finally supports your vision. Relationships benefit from this positive energy as well. Romantic connections feel uplifting, sincere, and emotionally nourishing. For those seeking love, July increases the chance of meeting someone who truly resonates with you. This month also encourages authenticity. Taurus shines most when not trying to impress anyone. When you simply show up as yourself, the right people and opportunities gravitate toward you. Creativity, healing, and self-expression are especially supported during this time. By the end of July, Taurus feels emotionally renewed. You are reminded that patience and persistence matter. July doesn't just give you something you wanted, it restores your belief in yourself and in the journey you're on. And that belief carries you confidently into the faster-moving months ahead. August 2026 is one of the fastest-moving months of the year for Taurus. Everything accelerates. Plans that were once distant suddenly come into focus, and events unfold with surprising speed. There is little room for hesitation. Life pushes you forward, whether you feel fully prepared or not. This month is strongly connected to communication, travel, and rapid progress. Messages, calls, emails, and decisions move back and forth quickly. You may find yourself juggling multiple conversations, opportunities, or responsibilities at the same time. For Taurus, this can feel intense, but also exciting. Momentum is finally on your side. August supports expansion. This can mean travel for work or pleasure, relocation plans, or fast growth in a business or personal project. If you've been waiting for confirmation, approval, or a response, this is when it arrives. Things that were delayed earlier in the year begin to move forward without resistance. Relationships also develop quickly this month. Connections deepen at a rapid pace and emotions intensify. For some Taurus signs, August brings passionate interactions or sudden changes in relationship dynamics. What matters most is honesty and clarity. Confusion only slows down what is meant to progress. By the end of August, Taurus may feel surprised by how much has changed in such a short time. This month teaches you that progress doesn't always come slowly and steadily. Sometimes, when the timing is right, life moves fast and all you need to do is keep up. August prepares you for the more reflective energy that follows, but it leaves you stronger, more confident, and far ahead of where you started the year. September 2026 slows the rhythm for Taurus after the intense momentum of August. This is a month of inner awareness, reflection, and emotional sensitivity. Things may feel less clear on the surface, but beneath that uncertainty is important information. September asks you to listen more closely to your intuition, your emotions, and the subtle signals around you. This month may bring moments of confusion or emotional fog. Plans might feel uncertain, or answers may not arrive as quickly as you expect. But this pause is intentional. Taurus is being guided to process what has already changed instead of rushing into the next step. Rest becomes productive. Silence becomes meaningful. September also highlights emotional strength. Even if you feel vulnerable at times, you are more resilient than you realize. This month encourages emotional honesty with yourself and with others. Old fears, insecurities, or subconscious patterns may surface, not to weaken you, but to be understood and released. Family matters, home, and personal space become more important now. You may feel the need to retreat, reorganize, or create a sense of emotional safety. Healing conversations or quiet realizations can bring deep comfort and clarity. By the end of September, Taurus emerges with renewed confidence. What once felt unclear begins to make sense. You feel emotionally grounded again, stronger for having slowed down. September teaches you that not all progress is visible. Some of the most powerful changes happen within. October 2026 marks a decisive shift for Taurus. After the emotional processing and inner work of September, this month is about movement, physical, mental, and emotional. You are no longer standing still or questioning your direction. You know it's time to move forward, even if the destination is not fully clear yet. October is strongly connected to transitions. This may involve travel, relocation, a change in career direction, or leaving behind a situation that no longer supports your growth. What's important is that this movement feels intentional. You are not escaping, you are choosing progress. The past no longer holds the same emotional weight it once did. This month also symbolizes the end of a difficult phase. Challenges that once felt heavy begin to fade. You feel lighter, clearer, and more confident about the road ahead. Even if uncertainty remains, there is a deep inner knowing that you are making the right decision. October encourages trust, not blind trust, but trust in your ability to adapt. Taurus realizes that stability does not always mean staying in one place. Sometimes, true stability comes from knowing you can rebuild anywhere. By the end of October, you feel emotionally and mentally stronger. You have crossed an invisible line. There is no desire to go back, only a calm readiness to move forward. October doesn't rush you, but it reminds you that growth begins the moment you decide to leave what no longer serves you behind. November 2026 becomes a month of rewards and tangible results for Taurus. This is when your efforts finally translate into something solid and visible. What you've been building throughout the year, patiently, quietly, and consistently, begins to pay off. Financial stability and self-worth are central themes now. This month carries strong energy of independence and personal achievement. Taurus feels confident in their abilities and proud of what they've accomplished. Income may increase, clients or opportunities may multiply, or a long-term goal reaches an important milestone. For many Taurus signs, November brings the feeling of "I earned this." There is also a sense of comfort and self-appreciation. You may invest in yourself through beauty, wellness, travel, or personal enjoyment without guilt. This is not excess, but balance. You understand the value of rewarding yourself for hard work. November encourages you to enjoy the life you're creating. There is less urgency now and more satisfaction. You are not chasing, you are receiving. Others may look to you as an example of stability, success, or confidence. Your energy attracts respect without effort. By the end of November, Taurus feels grounded and secure. You know your worth, financially and emotionally. This month confirms that the changes you embraced earlier in the year were worth it. November doesn't ask you to push harder, it invites you to appreciate how far you've come, just before the year delivers its final surprise. December 2026 arrives with unpredictability and surprise for Taurus. This is not a quiet ending, it's a month that reminds you life always has the final word. Just when you think you understand the year and its lessons, something unexpected appears. A twist, an invitation, or a sudden change shifts your perspective once more. This month carries the energy of movement and chance. Travel, spontaneous plans, or an unplanned opportunity may arise, often connected to work, finances, or personal growth. What makes December unique is the lack of control. Taurus is asked to release expectations and allow events to unfold naturally. December also symbolizes freedom. You may feel lighter, more open, and less attached to outcomes. There is a sense that you've done enough, now it's time to see what life brings. Surprises this month are not meant to disrupt your stability, but to remind you that growth continues even when the year ends. Emotionally, December encourages playfulness and curiosity. You may reconnect with a sense of adventure or rediscover joy in uncertainty. This is a powerful contrast to the caution that defined earlier months. Taurus ends the year wiser, more flexible, and more trusting of the unknown. By the end of December, you realize something important. 2026 didn't just change your circumstances, it changed you. You step into the next year stronger, freer, and more aligned with your true self. And whatever surprise December brings, it becomes a reminder that life always rewards those willing to move forward with courage. As 2026 comes to a close, Taurus is no longer the same person who began this journey. This year asked you to grow, to choose differently, and to trust yourself even when certainty was missing. Not every step was comfortable, but every step was necessary. You learned that stability is not about staying still, it's about knowing you can adapt without losing yourself. Throughout this year, you were challenged to release what no longer fit and to step into roles that required more confidence, honesty, and courage. You proved to yourself that you are capable of handling change, even when it arrived unexpectedly. And most importantly, you learned to value your own worth emotionally, mentally, and materially. 2026 was not about rushing or forcing outcomes. It was about alignment. About listening to your inner voice and choosing a life that feels true, not just familiar. The rewards you received were not random, they were the result of your patience, persistence, and willingness to grow. As you move forward, take this clarity with you. Trust the path you're on. Trust the decisions you've made. And trust that everything you released created space for something better to enter your life. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. If this reading resonated with you, take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe for more guidance and insight. Wishing you a year ahead filled with clarity, strength, and quiet confidence.